let's jump and fast forward now to the brands that you used in Gin Lane marketing that we're all aware of. So like the Harry's, the Hims, Smile Direct. At what point did that playbook, that D2C playbook, and all the services that you provided with those or to those clients become, maybe not rinse and repeat at that point, but it was really getting dialed? Were those brands, were you still kind of cutting your teeth on those processes and figuring stuff out with them, alongside them? Or at that point, were you like really comfortable and you're like, we know what the playbook is, we're going to run it?
I just listened to the Patrick O'Shaughnessy podcast, Invest Like the Best, last week with Josh Kushner from Thrive Capital, and he doesn't do a lot of like interviews or public talking or whatever. So I was kind of really excited to listen to it. He was a really big like steward of Gin Lane, Kirsten Green and Forerunner, Chris Pike, who was at Thrive. There was a few folks that were really investing in the consumer sector in what would become D2C. And they saw this opportunity. And I think they both have really parlayed those chapters into incredible careers, right? So Kirsten Green is, a forefront VC in a lot of regards for a lot of industries, but really kind of developed her name in the modern incarnation around consumer brands like a Glossier or, early investor in I think Dollar Shave Club. And Josh Kushner, he led Warby Parker's Series A and was super involved in Harry's and Hims, and the list kind of goes on. Obviously, he's, built in-house Oscar, all that. They really were guiding forces for us. Again, I didn't understand the playbook. I didn't understand the space. They saw us as really astute, thoughtful designers for building cool websites and doing good branding that was digitally native. So we did Harry's with Partners in Spade, which is called Mythology, out of Warby Parker, where we had both worked with them. And Partners in Spade and Anthony Spruti, one of the founders who now heads up Mythology, they had led the branding for Warby Parker and did Harry's. And they asked us to do like the digital equivalent of that for the website. So we had to translate some of their branding to be digital first, because this blue, there wasn't a hex code for it. This font wasn't a web safe font, so we had to mirror what their style sheet was off PDFs and translate it so that it could work in code in responsive web browsers. We additionally had to think about storytelling for razors, which was kind of boring. And so we used, sprites in motion where on mobile, the razor would spin or it would auto load a video. We built what's called like a long scrolling PDP. These were kind of like early landing pages or prototypes of them. We're also doing the custom front end coding. Shopify didn't have as robust of kind of themes, and back end, you're hacking and cheating to make it kind of work. So I think we always tried to be really creative, and we were given really thoughtful entrepreneurs that gave us space to explore, because a lot of the playbook wasn't developed yet. And there wasn't, when Harry's launched, there was like an acquisition campaign that Everlane ran something similar, which was like refer a friend and you can get a certain amount of dollars off or early access. And that was built for Facebook and Twitter. There was no paid marketing on Facebook. And when there was, it wasn't sophisticated, right? So 10 years later, it's such a sophisticated game of like arbitrage day trading. And back then, it was just figuring out how to get in front of people with websites. Would people even buy stuff on mobile? And then Sweetgreen, they're thoughtful, similar circles. We just done something for Reformation. We were just trying to think of what e-commerce could be. We're using motion. We're loading images fast. We're doing responsive breakpoints. We're going to people's studios and setting tape on the ground for how to shoot stuff so that it works in different viewports. We're just trying to make these holistic, beautiful experiences that, to some extent, like I don't feel are as represented today. There was just a tweet where I forget what the site is, and it was a video model walking onto stage left of the screen, and someone was like, "This is the most beautiful TV I've ever seen." I had like 20 people send that to me, because that's what Gin Lane used to do in yesteryear, post Flash, all the time, and we learned that from the Stella McCartney team, which was, high production video shoots where everything was on Flash. As soon as Steve Jobs killed Flash, you had to figure out HTML5, Canvas, and like making stuff kind of work. Now everything is so conversion funnel kind of optimized that it's hard to do like beautiful storytelling. I think that just like the pendulum always swings, and I would take a strike that a combination of smart, intelligent understandings of like optimization and conversion funnel, what works, mixed with beautiful storytelling and higher fidelity content, is something that I think takes from yesteryear and takes from now that will be delightful for customers.